Good morning. I think yesterday we left off, we were talking about good things and bad things that happen in our life, or things that we think are good or bad anyway. So we've covered faith and hope, we talked about gratitude, and today we're going to talk about things that happen to us on a daily basis and how we perceive those things. Yesterday, an example I gave about that gentleman who had that car accident, and it turned out to be a real good thing because it saved his life. So we're going to continue with that discussion today about things that happen to us on a daily basis and how we perceive them to be at that time, and the benefit of changing our perception. I'm not going to read out of my book today. Because there's so much material that I do want to cover, and I do talk about it in the book. And in the book, I talk about getting a new prescription. And you know, with this new prescription, it kind of changes our view on life. Just like sometimes, I don't know if you wear glasses or not, but if you do, you know, sometimes you have to go get a new prescription, and you start seeing things a little bit clearer. And it's the same thing when you deal with life, you know. And hopefully, what we want to do is we want to change our perception. And when things happen in our life that seemingly look so bad, you know, with this new perception, we don't have to act so emotional about it and jump to judgment about it. And you know, it's real important that we don't do that, because you know, what I've come to realize, you know, and I did it for so many years, is I love to beat myself up. I will beat myself up far harder than anybody will beat me up. And, you know, it'll take the form of something like, well, you know, if I wouldn't have done that, then that wouldn't have happened. And I should have known better. And you know, that constant process of me beating myself down, you know, it starts taking a toll on me, and I start getting depressed, and then there's self-hatred, and then I start building up all these insecurities, and you know, it just has this snowball effect, and it just keeps on going. So you know, when I started changing my perception on things, and I didn't react to things quickly, you know, it really started to change, because now when things happen to me, you know, I sit down and I say, okay, well, you know, what lesson am I supposed to learn out of this, and what am I supposed to do to, you know, correct this situation, or maybe I'm not supposed to do anything and let God correct it for me. And look at it as clear as possible. And sometimes when I can't do it alone, that's when I need others to give me some guidance. And it goes back to, I think, our first or second lesson when we were talking about talking to others about our problems or issues that we have in our life. Because it's important to have a sounding board, to have somebody that we can talk to. Because you know what? I know for sure that you see me a lot clearer than I see me. I have friends that know me, and they can tell me, out of love, of course, you know, what it is that I need to change. You know? Because what stands between me and me is a lot of rationalization and justification. I can rationalize anything else. I can justify anything. Earlier in the morning, I was talking with somebody, and you know, they called me and they said, well, you know, how was it when you were homeless? I mean, didn't you feel bad, you know, about not having a place to stay and it being cold out? And we were joking, and I said, well, you know, when I was homeless, I justified, you know, me being homeless. And I told her, I said, I can remember some nights when I'd be laying outside saying, you know what, it's nice out, the stars are nice. I don't know why these people live in houses anyway. They don't need to live in no houses. They're missing all this beauty. And that was just a justification for me not having a place to stay. And it's crazy. You know, it really is crazy. And, you know, even though that's an extreme example, but it's just the process of we justifying things so that we don't have to feel good about ourselves. We don't have to feel bad about ourselves, but deep down inside, it really gnaws at you, and it was tearing me up. In some way, I knew it was a lie, and there's no way that I could justify that. And but so when things happen in our lives, don't be so quick to beat yourself up. Don't be so quick to blame somebody else, because we always don't need to have a somebody to blame, whether it be ourselves or somebody else. And it could be that it just wasn't meant to be, and maybe there's some other direction that God is trying to take us in, a better direction. Maybe if you went to that car lot to go buy you a new Chevy and they told you no, maybe God wants you to have a Mercedes a year from now. You just don't know. Lord knows that if that day that I left that street corner and I went into that treatment facility, that I would be sitting here right now, having completed a book, having completed law school, having completed my bachelor's degree, after doing 17 albums, been on Billboard. Lord knows that there's no way that in my mind could have ever imagined anything like that could have happened to me. There's just no way possible. So there was definitely some points in my journey where I didn't get what I wanted, or things didn't happen the way that I wanted them to happen. And at that time, it looked like something very negative and something very bad. And today I'm glad that those things didn't happen, because it steered me away from going in another direction that I could have possibly went. So don't be so quick to judge. Don't be so quick for you to believe that your will and what you wanted was the best way for you, because I'm here to tell you that you probably don't know. Only God knows what's best for us. The best that we could possibly do is get our wants in line with what God's wants are for us. And then when we reach that point, then we can live in that harmony. And ultimately, that is the prize. Out of everything that we're doing, everything we're going to talk about, ultimately the place that we want to be at is for our will or our wants. I like to use those words, and they mean the same thing, is that we want our will and our wants to line up with what God's will and His wants for us are. And once we get those two wheels going in the same direction, then it's just harmony. Then life just changes. Then we can live in those other dimensions that they talk about, and that's where we're gonna get to. It takes some maintenance to stay there once you do get there, but we're gonna get there, and we're gonna keep working at it until we do find that place where we're walking hand in hand with God. So, and think about, if you could think about what you worried about this time last month, or the things that bothered you this time last month, and think about how those issues have already worked themselves out. We spend a lot of time straddling that fence of what happened in the past and what's going to happen in the future. And what happens is, when you have part of you in the past and part of you in the future, you're not enjoying today, and you're not fully in what's going on today. So if you're not in today, how can you see a miracle that's happening to you today? It's pretty difficult. But stay into the day, take it easy, enjoy your day today. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow.